Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm sorry I look a mess. I just got out of the shower and my hair's wet and I had a face mask on and I have face mask all through my eyebrows. So love that for me. So today I'm going to be talking about why I have a cast on my arm, because this is a new look and it's really sexy. So I have a problem in my wrist called Madelung deformity and I need to have an operation on it called an osteotomy, I think it's called. I don't know how to say it, but they just had to break and reset my arm pretty much, and now there's all screws and plates and all things to hold it together in there because it will fall apart otherwise. So I went into hospital on the 13th of February and had an operation on it. So I got to the hospital about 12 o'clock and then we were just waiting there and I was FaceTiming people and then they took me in and then I had to put my sexy hospital gown on and then I was singing Britney Spears while I was waiting, and I would not stop laughing the whole time. I would not stop laughing. I was in there, my mum and dad were there, and I was just laughing, so then they were laughing, and then the nurses and the doctors, they were all just laughing. So then they eventually took me in, and I'm still hysterically laughing. Come hit me with your needle. And I was about to get put to sleep by the anaesthetist, which is the guy that puts you to sleep, and I was just laughing. They were jabbing me with needles at this point and I would not stop laughing. I would not stop laughing. And then the doctor was there and he just said to me right before I went under, "Oh, by the way, there's a chance that we might have to take bone from your hip." So I'm there about to get knocked out, starting to worry because he told me I might need to get bone taken from my hip and he said that there's a 20% chance. Like, that's still a decent chance that that might need to happen. If they said they need to take bone from my hip if there wasn't enough bone in my arm to take. I don't know, something weird. So my dad went out and then they took me under and I don't know what happened after that. And then I ended up waking up and I couldn't feel anything because I was drugged up. And then I was in recovery. You're meant to stay in recovery for an hour, but I was in there for about 15 minutes and then they ended up kicking me out because I was too loud. There was probably about 15 patients in this same room area as I was, and everyone had their own nurse on them to be there when they wake up, and I was the loudest in there. I was probably one of the younger ones in there and I was the loudest person there. So then they were laughing at me. They gave me an ice block. I think they just gave it to me to shut me up so then I would stop talking, but no. So then I was talking to the nurse. I was like, and like, I'm a chatty person, so I was there talking his ears off. Like, he was laughing at me. I remember him laughing at me. And then when they were taking me back up to my room that I was staying for the night, one of the nurses that was in the operating room with me ended up being in the same lift when they were taking me back up. So then I remembered him, so I started talking to him as well. So they're taking me around the hospital and I'm just laughing and talking and I just wouldn't shut up pretty much. So they kicked me out of recovery like 45 minutes earlier than I was meant to, and then I got back to my room and all of a sudden I was telling everyone I'm part of AC/DC. I don't know why I said AC/DC because like that wouldn't be the first thing that I think would come to my head. AC/DC, I don't think so. That's just random. So I got back to my room and my mom was there and my dad was there and my brother was there, and my brother was filming me. So here's that clip.
Nice little quiet. What? Because you're being loud. But there's no babies here. There's people in my room. Yeah, well, I'm retarded too. Give me kisses. No! Give me kisses. Daddy kisses. Oh.
How did Daddy want? Stop being silly.
Cold. Yeah, they put me in the freezer.
My nan was there also, but she didn't want to know me because apparently I was being really loud, and none of the loud bits apparently got on camera, but the part where my mum was telling me off, my brother did film. So my mum ended up telling me off because I was being too loud. And then after that, I ended up looking at myself in the mirror and realizing how I actually looked, and my face had broken out really bad, like really badly, and I get really insecure about my skin, and I didn't like the fact that all these people were going to see me with my face looking this bad. And I know I shouldn't worry about it because there's heaps of people that have this problem, but I just don't like it. I don't like having all... I just hate acne. So my face was really bad this day, and I ended up looking to the side and seeing there was a mirror there, and you know when you have to look back twice? That was me. And then I ended up looking back and I was terrified. So I scared myself. And then after all of that, I ended up FaceTiming all my friends again, and I was on the phone with my auntie apparently for a while. I was just wanting to talk to everyone. I was calling everyone. I was, you name it, I was doing it. And then I needed to end up going to the bathroom. And my arm had to be hanging up so it wouldn't get swollen, so it was like hanging on the side of the bed like this. And I ended up needing to go to the bathroom, so my arm had to get taken out of the sling, and I was joined to all drips and everything because it was my pain relief. So they gave me the button for if I wanted pain relief, I just pressed the button and then the pain relief would come through. So then I had to bring the trolley thing, I don't know what they're called, but the drip thing with me to go to the bathroom. And it was such a production because I couldn't walk properly because I was still kind of out of it at this point. I was with it, but I was out of it, if you get what I mean. Like, I knew what I was saying. I knew everything that I was saying, but you just couldn't help what you were saying. It just came out. So then I had to go to the bathroom, and like, I needed help. So, and I hate getting help with things like that. Like the shower, washing my hair, like anything to do like that. I just want to do it myself because I just don't like people. No, that's just no. So I needed help, and Mum was coming with me, and I gave her the dirty look, like I can do it myself, like I don't need help. And she looked at me and said, George, you can barely walk, blah blah blah, it's me or the nurse outside. And it was a guy. So I looked at Mum, and Mum ended up having to help me. She wasn't like helping me like too much, but she still had to be in the bathroom with me, and I hated it. I hated the whole thing. And then after that, I ended up getting back in bed, and then I had something to eat, and then later on I was FaceTiming people again. I was just kept FaceTiming people, and then in between FaceTiming people I'd pass out and I'd just go to sleep for a while. So then after that I ended up falling asleep about maybe 10:30ish. So I was passed out, and around 4 o'clock in the morning my mum, everyone had left, and then my mum stayed with me. So I heard my mum in the bathroom about 4 o'clock in the morning, and I was thinking, what's Mum doing? Like, why is Mum up now? And I heard the tap in the bathroom going. So then I was like, oh, I was calling for Mum. I was like, Mum, where are you? Blah, blah, blah. And then she's like, oh, I burnt myself. So then I thought she meant she just burnt herself with like the hot water in the bathroom. So then I was kind of just didn't think much of it, and I was like, oh, you okay? And she was like, yeah. So then I passed out again. I fell back to sleep. And then after, she came up to me maybe 20 minutes afterwards and whispered in my ear, oh, I'm just going to be outside the room. If you need me, call for me. So then half an hour later, about half an hour later, oh, it was probably around 6 o'clock at this point, my alarm on my phone started to go off, and my phone was on the other side of the room, and Mum wasn't in the room. So I was calling for Mum. I was going, Mum, 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 Mum. No answer. I was getting no answer. And at this point, I need to go to the bathroom again. So I was in bed. I was getting no answer from Mum, and the button for the nurse was on the other side of the bed. Like, I couldn't reach it because it was on the side where my bad hand was. So I was stuck in bed, and then I was at the point where I really needed to go to the bathroom. So I had to get out of bed. It took me 20 minutes to figure out how to get out of bed, because I had to get my arm out of the sling again. I had to unplug the things from the wall with my drip bag, and then I had to, the sides of the bed were up, so I had to figure out how to get out of them. So I was shuffling down, and then I had the needle in my hand, so then I didn't want to pull that out, so I was like, had my arm like right back here trying to shuffle up and holding my arm, and I was trying to get out of bed. So then I ended up getting out of bed like 20 minutes later, and then I turned my alarm off because the longer you leave it, the louder it gets. So I turned the alarm off, and then I had to go to the bathroom. So I went to the bathroom, and that took me another 20 minutes. And then after I finished the whole production, I went to see where Mum was. So I looked out the room to where she said she was going to be. She wasn't there. So I was confused. I was thinking, what? Where's Mum? Like, she said she was out here. So I went back, I grabbed my phone. So then I went back, I grabbed my phone, and I called Mum. So then she answered, and I said, where are you? Like, blah, blah, blah. I need you, type of thing. And she said, oh, I'm coming now, blah, blah, blah. And then she came, and I said, I don't need you anymore. So I hopped back in bed at this point, and Mum came back. She's like, oh, what's up? I said, you said you're outside, blah, blah, blah. You said you're outside and you weren't answering me. So she came back, and then I was kind of cranky because she said she was going to be outside and she wasn't outside. So after she came back, she showed me that she burnt herself, and she actually burnt herself on the, like, one of the big kettles in the kitchen they have down the hallway. It actually spurted out on her, and she had a massive burn like all down here. So she was actually with the nurses getting that fixed up while I was trying to call for her. So Mum was getting her arm fixed up, and I was in bed trying to call her, and I couldn't get her because she wasn't there, and the nurse's button was on the other side of the room. So I was stranded, and I had to figure things out for myself, which I did, but I was a little bit salty. And then we ended up having breakfast later on that morning, and we could either stay another night or go home, but I wanted to go home because I didn't want to stay at the hospital again, and I wanted to have a shower, but I didn't want to have a shower there because I didn't want to. So then my dad ended up coming to pick us up from the hospital about 10:30. So I had to have my sling with me. I had to wear a sling, and ended up going back down, got in the car, and on the way home, I was fine on the drive home, but near the end I was starting to feel a bit like I was going to vomit. I didn't end up vomiting, but at the end I felt like I was about to. So then we got home. I pretty much just went to bed for the next 2 days. But when we got home, I needed to have a shower, but I couldn't have a shower because my arm was too sore to lift up, and my hair was gross. So I needed to have a bath, and I hate needing to have a bath and needing help washing my hair. It's the worst thing ever. Oh my god. So I had to get in my swimmers when I got home, and I ended up getting in the bath, and Mum had to wash my hair, and I hated it so much. So then after that I just got in bed and I was passed out most of the time. And then the next few days after, my hair needed to get washed again, and my friend was over, and my mum was joking around saying, oh, you could wash George's hair, blah blah blah, and I hated it. I hated it so much. So then she ended up washing my hair, and I was in the bathroom with my swimmers again, and she was washing my hair. So love getting out of my comfort zone much. But then after that, my arm was feeling like easier to lift up by myself, and it wasn't as heavy, because this is like a full plaster cast and it's heavy, but it's kind of at a point now where I don't need the sling anymore because it's not that sore. I can deal with it. And the other day I went in the shower and my hair needed to get washed again, and I ended up washing it myself, and then I just washed my hair before again myself, and I think I've mastered the whole one hand washing your hair thing now. So I'm pretty proud of that. Okay, anyway, I'll see you in the next video, whenever that will be. So I hope you enjoyed my little story time. My arm feels so weird right now. It's like all running down here. I think I've been using it too much.